as the Bay is getting more eyes on it, people rarely show the like beautiful natural environments that we have here, like the redwoods. This is also part of the Bay.
This is A Deeper Listen from listener-powered KEXP. This is the show where we talk with musicians about the thoughts and the experiences that shape their music. I'm Roddy Nickpour. Last year, our radio signal expanded from the Seattle metro area at 90.3 FM to include another tower 2 states south in Northern California at 92.7 FM. And we're not just broadcasting a radio signal. We've had several events down there, and we're really loving how the music community comes alive in California. So now when we talk about local artists, to us, that's not just in the Pacific Northwest, it's also the Bay Area. Today's spotlight on Seiji Oda is something of a love letter to the Oakland music scene. In May, he released an album of sample-based summer jams called Human Nature. KEXP's Dusty Henry spoke with Seiji Oda about his new release and the expansive music scene that brought him up.
The Bay Area is steeped in music history. From its flower power psychedelic days of the 60s,
ran into the devil, baby, loaned me 20 bills. Spent the night in Utah in a cave up in the hills.
through innovations in experimental music with the San Francisco Tape Music Center, spearheaded by artists like Pauline Oliveros and Terry Riley. And carrying on through one of the most electric, forward-thinking, and just all-around fun hip-hop scenes in the country.
I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself. Man, I'm feeling myself. I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself. Man, I'm feeling myself.
Rapper and producer Seiji Oda finds himself in the vast lineage of innovators. His music not only honors the Bay's storied history, it feels like a culmination of all these different musical moments, fusing together the heavy bass bombast of Hyphy music, down-tempo beats, and ambient experimentation. Oda has crafted a sound all his own, while still feeling very Oakland. In 2022, he put out an album called Lofi Hyphy. The title alone has become a perfect way to describe his sound.
Task force swag like the bass, got Vans in my backpack, Cortez all black in my car like the pack. Damn, this shit slap. I got sauce, you want beef, then I shawarma is a rat.
His latest album, Human Nature, brings all these different aspects of Oda and his city together. Sometimes it's so tranquil, you might think you're listening to Brian Eno. Other times, it feels like you're in the middle of the best house party of your life.
Hey, mindless, I'm like the sun, I'm shining. 2 12s in a trunk, dumping behind me.
And underlying it all is the sound of the Bay itself. Oda combines field recordings of the nature surrounding Oakland, along with the sounds of the city. As he explains, these recordings became the backbone of the album that he based everything off of. I caught up with Oda to talk about the making of the record, his blending of music and environment, and his love for the Bay. He kicks off the conversation by describing what it was like to grow up here.
Man, the Bay is amazing. I love Oakland so much. I was talking to the homie about it the other day that there are so many other cities that are, so-called melting pots. But I think that what makes the Bay unique is that all of those cultures are actually melting and melding together and like all in and around each other. They're not so segregated how they are, I think, in other cities, at least me being, visiting New York, and I lived in LA for like 6 years. So that really, I think, is what makes it unique, is just growing up around and being really intimate and best friends and meeting people's families that are so different than yours. I think that's what I love the most about the Bay, is like that intimacy.
Feels, really welcoming and fun and spirited.
Spirited. I've never heard that before, but I think that's hella true.
Oakland obviously has one of the greatest hip hop scenes in the world with lots of history. The whole Hyphy movement, Mac Dre.
Can you do the thing sometimes? This dance,
UB40.
Watered down. I'm from the Bay where we hyphy and go dumb. From the soil where them rappers be getting they lingo from. Ooh. Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go.
Digital Underground, the mobile DJ crews. What are some of your earliest memories of Bay Area music?
I feel like it was being a kid, and it wasn't really the music itself, but how the music was being played. Like, I feel like, you know, going outside and seeing people on like giant tricycles playing like music out of, you know, 212s, like big subwoofers, and just like out of cars, like hearing them come out of cars as they drive by, like that rumbling bass, just like that. As the car passes by, it makes the whole block rumble. I was a kid during the Hyphy movement, so I didn't really get to experience it like that, like firsthand. But I think the other side of it too for me is that some of my biggest inspirations are like guys like Hieroglyphics, like Sosa Mischief, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, like those kind of like, I think you could say spirited or more like, almost like oddball, you know, like people that are so truly themselves. I think that that's what really got me into music. I was like, oh, I can do this too. Cause like, look at these people just being 1,000 themselves and not caring what anybody thinks.
You'll never know. From 93 till infinity, we've been inventive. Creating the bump is our only incentive, and it's been a long time since I feel I've been felt. But the only thing I fear is fear itself. So
And I've heard you describe your music as lo-fi hyphy. Could you break down what that means and how you sort of developed that sound?
Yeah, like 2023 was when that album came out, Lo-Fi Hyphy. But I think that sound had been for me like developing for a long time, and that was just kind of like me trying to put a name on it. And I felt like that album was me being like, okay, like I feel like I've honed this sound to the extent that it can be, you know? Now I'm trying to experiment more in like other fields too.
I got green in my pocket and a couple blues. What you mean you just jaws who you talking to? Papa Bean, I ain't talking about no coffee, dude. They copy me like some parasites, some cockatoo. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out. Don't box me in, I box out like a rebound. She see I'm ballin', she come back now.
I think lo-fi is like a simplification of, you know, actual like hip hop beats, like Dilla kind of stuff. Like Neo Soul, Erykah Badu. Like Nuchabis, like those types of things that people label lo-fi are really just like jazzy R&B hip hop beats that are like slowed down.
And I'll do mention Nuchabis too, because I thought about him a lot listening to your records. Is he an influence?
Big influence, yeah. I mean, I think for this one, this most recent project, Human Nature, was when I feel like I made lo-fi hyphy, and I was like, I've listened to some Nuchabis, but I haven't really delved.
Singing the headlines, line with discord is either genocide or the planet in uproar.
You know, and I was like, damn, like how can I say that and I'm not listening to the music, you know? So I went and really dove deeply into his discography, and I think that's what kind of made me use so much piano and like electric piano on this album, and trying to like learn keys more myself. And I think his music is just like life music. Nuchabis is like, you can live your life listening to his music, and that is like something that I really wanted for this album to feel like.
White fit got me feeling so awesome. Real life Mac, I'm Steve Jobs. I got new soul, molded up like new jobs. Swashbuckling and swag, tryna pirate me pockets. Cowboy bebop, I need space, bitch, get off me. Spike the volleyball, man, I'm serving all of y'all. Surfing through the traffic, Mike Jack, I'm off the wall. In my vans like the pack, this slap like a backhand. Hit the tennis ball, US Open Mac Mall.
The title of the record is Human Nature, or Human Plus Nature. Can you talk about that title and what that means to you?
Yeah, Human Nature, I feel like there was a couple songs that were on the project that had already been made, and I think that I was like, okay, this is when it started making sense. A lot of these songs, when I was in sessions with people that I was collaborating with or I was working on my own, I would start with like a soundscape first. Like usually I start with melodies or I'll start with drums, but this was like, I would take like a random voice memo I took of like some crickets or like a sound of a river, or like a, you know, the YouTube videos where they're like 10 hours of beach wave sounds or whatever, you know. And I would either grab those or one of my own recordings and just let that marinate for a little bit and see like, okay, what chords do I hear in this environment? What drums do I hear in this environment? Whose vocal sound could sound good in this environment?
Who could take your love for granted? I'll never take it for any sudden.
I think that was how many, if not like most of the songs on this project came about, was like starting with the natural environment first and then like, okay, what fits there? And I think that human nature to me is like the reason why when you said, oh, is it human nature? Is it human plus nature? Is it humans and nature? I think that it should be all of the above, because what I was trying to explore and what I'm still trying to explore and understand is like, what is our relationship to nature as human beings? And also how does that play into like our human nature? Like, are we inherently a certain way? And why are we so separate from nature in comparison to like most other animals and other things that are part of the natural cycle? Like, we see ourselves as so separate, and we've created this like separation from nature, but it's still in us, you know, the nature is still there within us. So I think that was just like the approach that I had. I know that's a long ass answer, but I could talk about this all day, bro. So you got me started.
No, I love it. And I was really excited to talk about that aspect of it too, like the field recordings and like this audio. Like, it's so cool because in one half you'll have, you know, nature sounds, waves or crickets. And then it'll be like a party, you know, people like having fun.
When the world gets dark, be my light. And I can see it all.
Jumping out the beams with the light on the outside, but it's inside.
It wasn't really like a narrative behind those environments, but it just kind of, they happened as I was making the album more like, so what you're saying, like the end of No Feelings 2, where, you know, you hear everyone in the background. That was actually when we shot the video for No Feelings 2. We were there with the Trunk Boys and everybody, and there was just a moment where we don't really say the Cupcake No Feeling chorus until the end of the song, but then once we started doing it at the video, everyone just keeps repeating it because it's just such a like steeped in the Bay. Like, everybody and their kids and their parents and the aunties like love and know that song. So it just like came naturally, and I was like, okay, hold on, keep doing this. So I recorded it like with my phone right there, and then I was like, okay, this is gonna get added to the song because it just felt right. You know, it felt like this is the environment where I would want to listen to this song. So I want to add that in for the listener to have that too.
It's really awesome. Cupcake No Feelings was like a classic in the Bay by Trunk Boys.
Cupcake, no feeling, I ain't got time cause I got a lot of women. Hey, hey. Cupcake, no feeling, I ain't got time cause I got a lot of women. Hey, hey.
What made you kind of want to give your own take on it, and how did you get Trunk Boys actually involved with it?
I actually did a flip of Cupcake No Feeling back in 2018, just on my own. And this was like, you know, way before I even dreamed of having a collaboration with them. And that was more of like I did kind of like an R&B take on it because the original song samples like an R&B song. So I was trying to like reflip it back in a way. That's something that is really fun for me, is flipping old Bay classics and kind of making them my own way. And then if I can get the person who was originally on that song on it as well, it's really cool to get their take on it. Like, you know, 5 years later, like how they progress as an artist and like what's their new perspective on the same song that they had.
I take time to stay still, but I'm still in motion. Big fish swimming in the ocean. Hey, got it out the trunk, I'm with the boys, and they still yoking. Get out the mud, I'm in the form, but I'm still yoking. Moved out the hood, but I swear to God, ain't no place like Oakland. Let me switch the flow up, man, he must be joking. Man, your spirit ain't right, man, it must be broken. I'm only thinking about one thing, getting money when I'm smoking on the blunt, man. Well, maybe two things, maybe this that new strain. What you smoking on? It's them cupcakes.
It's awesome to think about your desire to work with these artists and bring back these songs, or not that they went away or anything, but like, you know, Thizzle Dance kind of pops in and out through the background. Like, there's so many of these like just references that there's probably many I don't even pick up on. And I'm just kind of curious about that balance between like all these like this like Bay history and like the nature sounds too, and like how do those work together for you and like the concept?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the human nature part of it for me, is that the Bay is so, what people I think a lot of times see on the news, like, you see Oakland, you see like San Francisco, people show the Tenderloin, Hunters Point, like the kind of concrete jungle side of the Bay, but people rarely show the like beautiful natural environments that we have here, like the redwoods and like, I mean, I guess people show the Golden Gate Bridge, but that's not even really like, I just think that those things aren't shown a lot. I think if I can be part of like, hey, like as the Bay is getting more eyes on it, this is also part of the Bay, you know, this is also part of our history. And that's what makes the Bay so special to me.
And you just have so many different influences. They come together so fluidly on the album. I've seen you reference Brazilian music being influenced. You've got this track, Bossa Nova.
I'm a boss, like Nova. Stop pocket watching, looking over my shoulder. Snakes in the grass, little boy, you a gopher. The Jake's on my ass, he's skirting it.
That's actually the oldest song on this album. Like I originally recorded the idea for it in probably like 2019 or 2020 maybe. I do a lot of capoeira. I've been training capoeira since I was a kid. And there's a lot of music involved in it as well. Like it's a martial art, it's a dance in a way. And there's also like traditional music that goes when you're practicing, when you're playing. And so I think that was my introduction in a lot of ways to like Brazilian music, Brazilian culture. And then I kind of, I got into the bossa nova, I got into the baile funk, and my dad's side is Japanese, and Japanese people can be very reserved. And I think Brazilians, there's something in crossover wise and like culture between Japan and Brazil, but they're like polar opposites. Like Brazilian people are so open and like cheerful and friendly and fun, you know, and I think that comes through in their music because they're just like, we don't give a f***, we're going to do whatever works. And there's something about that to me that really melds with Hyphy music, because there's just like it doesn't have to be perfect. This might be clipping, this bass might be too loud, this sound that we're using is probably kind of hurt your ear a little bit, but it feels good. And so we're going to go with that. And I think that's like, okay, I can meld these things two together. So I'm glad that it feels fluid to you, because that was the goal, to make it feel like, okay, even though these things are really different, like they kind of still, there's a overlap.
You must be joking. Drop it like a thunder run. Put this shit in motion. Whip it like I'm on a run. Hey, dip it, yoking. Hop out the whip, gas brake, ghosting. Running through this bread, I'm toasting. I ain't got a flex.
That word, like fluidity, I thought about it so much listening to your record, just because of like, everything is just so seamless. Like the transitions, like I don't know if I heard better transitions on an album this year, where it's like, I look at the track list and I'm like, oh, we're already like on another song. You barely even noticed.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a nice day.
What was the intentionality with that sort of like that seamless transitions? Like it feels very cinematic.
I'm really grateful, man, that you listened with that like careful of an ear, because that was something that I put a lot of thought and time into, was doing those transitions. I really just, a lot of it came from me kind of dabbling in DJing this year. Like I used to think of transitions as like, oh, it has to be perfect. Like the key has to be the same. The tempo got to be exactly the same, whatever. Right. But I think with DJing, it's like, it can be a little rough, you know, it can be a little bit offbeat. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it feels right, as long as people are moving, then that's what matters.
I'm gone.
You know, we keep kind of talking about this like peaceful feeling, and there's a song called Peaceful 3, which is the third iteration of the track, kind of like we talked about with Feelings 2.
Hey, I'm eclectic with the steez. She sounds stupid, doodle dumb, I say excellent, I agree. I always think before I speak, cause I ain't taking nothing back. If I say it, then I mean it.
I really love that song. Can you talk a little bit about that song and what it's about and why you kind of come back to it for the third time?
Yeah, I think it's funny that song is Peaceful 3, and that even though I'm talking about peace on there, it's like probably the least peaceful song. Like it's the most turned up song maybe on the album in a way. Yeah, you know what's funny about that is I actually, like, when I sampled that song, which is It's Peaceful by Al Johnson, I didn't even realize that the melody was similar to Thistle Dance.
It's my very private hideaway.
alone.
I'm all by myself and it's so peaceful.
I don't know. It's a fun juxtaposition. When I perform that song, me and ClayDough, who plays keys with me, he's a producer, also a really dope producer. Yeah, the performance of it is like it goes back and forth between that like peaceful feeling and then the kind of like really energized hyphy section. And I think that dun 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 is like what breaks in between those two things. Like you go from the like ambient whooshing kind of environment to the really sparse and hard hitting part.
Hey, Sydney, send me a black with young Seiji. Throw me in the psych ward and I'm going crazy. Swoosh. Ahoy, matey, I'm wavy. Climb aboard, the SSO baby.
I think it was just like that was the reason the sample caught my ear, but I didn't recognize why I liked it. Because the dun 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 melody is in Peaceful. It wasn't like me adding Thistle Dance in there. It's just part of the original song. So it was like what my friend actually pointed out. He was like, "Oh, it's clean. You said with Thistle Dance," and I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, it is the Thistle Dance melody."
Thistle dance, I said. Can you do the thistle dance?
So yeah, it's funny. It was like you don't realize even what you did until you do it, and it's like, oh damn, okay, nice, it worked out. But the third iteration and why I came back, I didn't answer your whole question. Was the Russell, big inspiration of mine for sure, like someone that's really killing it in the Bay, and I think is a blueprint for the way that the new Bay independence is happening right now. And so doing that song with him and now putting on the album, I knew I wanted to do new transitions from the song before and into the song after. I also felt like his part could have a little more slap, so I was like, let me take something from he's from Vallejo, and Mac Dre is one of my biggest influences too. So there's that kind of section where it goes into, it's kind of like Boss Tycoon-esque sample, and then it goes into the like guitar Peaceful at the end. So I don't know. I have so many ideas for a song that I can't put them all into one song. So I'm like, I'm going to come back and do that idea the next time, and then each version can live on its own.
That's awesome. And yeah, to your point you were making earlier too at the song, that like, it's called Peaceful, but also it is kind of one of the more like hype tracks on the record. Like, I don't know, I'm interested in that idea of like peaceful can also be fun, like it doesn't mean just like laying in the grass. It could also be like hanging out with like your friends or like, having a party or something. I don't know. The album kind of opens and ends with these ambient passages. Can you talk a little bit about those tracks and why you wanted to sort of start and finish it that way?
I went back and forth on those for a long time because I was like, people are going to start the album and they're going to turn it off because there's going to be nothing happening for like the first 3 minutes, or no one's going to listen to the end album or whatever. And then I was like, I'm going to just do what I want and what makes sense. I really love instrumental music when I'm listening to my own music, and I think that it's hard sometimes to live your life listening to so much like vocal music. For me at least, like I get distracted easily, so if there's like music happening and somebody's talking to me at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. So I need something that's like a little bit more like this I can implement into my normal life day to day and can just loop it and play it over and over again. What I didn't talk about when we were talking about the title of Human Nature was I also wanted the project to be kind of like a study of Hayao Miyazaki and his work and his films, because I think that there's so much that his exploration of human versus nature and humans and nature. Like one of my favorite films of all time is Princess Mononoke.
Why can't the humans in the forest live together? Why can't we stop this fighting now?
I think that he shows that like juxtaposition and kind of like conflict between humans and nature, and they're also with themselves and their own intrinsic nature. I love how much rest and empty space there is in those films, where there's like, it gives the listener or the viewer time to rest and to take in what just happened, and I think that those intros and outros and also the like interludes in between where there's no talking, there's no music, there's no there's no lyrics happening. It gives you time to like soak in everything and kind of reset your ear to like for the next song.
I was kind of like noticing that too. I was thinking about his work and your work and sort of this like call to nature. So I wanted to ask about the song Mavi Miyazaki.
Go. How y'all doing? I'm the Miyazaki Poppy. Let me paint the picture for you. Play the keys, Joey Sashi. Then I put that Moog on and made it flip. Now it's Mobby. When I'm in my mode, it ain't shit that can stop me. I'm that boy, Mahito Maki. Fresh fade on me, bitch, I'm full mohawking.
I love all the references you pack in on that track. I don't know, was that song kind of a culminating moment to kind of say everything you were just telling me?
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about like, oh, what's the nature environment for this? What's the, how is this going to fit into the project? I think I was just like, I love this guy and his work, and I want to say a lot about it, I have a lot to say about this topic, so I'm going to I'll make a song about it, really. I knew that it was going to have a place on this project because of that, and because there's so much space on that song, too.
Day, I had everything I wanted, still a feeling I can't shake. I can't leave this on my heart, I gotta say face to face. So when I wanna feel your presence, slow this up and let it play.
We've talked about this a few times, different ways here, but like I think that's just one thing I love about this record is like this love and pride for the Bay and all the features on the record too. You mentioned the Russell, ClayDough, Kiyomi, Drunk Boys, Nate Curry, like. It feels like when I listen to the record, I feel like I'm getting a grand tour of the Oakland scene. Can you tell me a bit about like how you picked the features on the record or how they came about?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to choose because I think that there's so much really cool music happening in Oakland, in the Bay Area right now. And I have so many friends who are like doing such raw stuff. I was trying to, like I was talking about earlier, like for every natural environment, whether it was beach sounds or bike sounds, whatever. When I was working with that person, I would ask them at the beginning of the session, like, what's your favorite nature environment to be in, and they would say it, and we would kind of like listen to that and have that be the sound bed for the song. Like that was how the one with Kiyomi came about.
Should I even bother? You're here, but you're out there and you're mine. Take this as your offer before I leave it all behind.
The one with Rex Life Rise, the one with Russ, with Willa Russell were both features that we recorded afterwards. But those were just like, okay, who's gonna fit in this environment, right? Like, who's gonna sound good and whose vocal tone is gonna fit. There's definitely a lot more features on here than I'm used to on my own projects. I think that because I'm like a producer and an artist, like I'm just like, oh, I want to do all my own stuff, But I really wanted to collaborate more on this project and be more of just like a producer and be able to have those features really shine.
I love that. Love that you brought that intentionality with all the other artists too. And I think it shows on the record. This is a big loaded question, but like, how would you describe the Bay Area music scene as it is today?
I think the best way I could describe it would be kind of that it's going through like a renaissance of sorts and almost like revolutionary. Like I think a lot of the music that's happening here is really radical music, in like the purest sense of the word. Like people are doing really weird shit. And I think that it's so tight knit. And the reason that I came back mostly was to be part of that scene. And I think that it's something really special that isn't really getting covered a lot, but there's so much like support and mutual support between artists that are coming up and I feel like what's my generation of artists. And I think that was something that I really didn't feel in LA. And I also didn't feel when I was growing up here. I feel like people are always talking about the Bay as like, oh, the Bay never breaks out of its own bubble because we don't support each other, because, everyone's hating on each other. And maybe that was true during that time, but I think that everyone that's kind of in coming up right now, I feel like it's so positive and so supportive of each other. And it's just like, yeah, like full of really kind people, bro. Like, I'm just like amazed at how like supportive and really like just good people. I think that the music comes secondary. Not that the music isn't important. Like, the music is so important, but I feel like it's like everyone's trying to be a good person first, you know, be there for their communities and bring something positive to the communities that they're in. Then also be like, okay, I want to put this fire music out as well. So, yeah, it feels like the Bay is really being revived right now, or not being revived, but it's like we are reviving it. It's reviving itself, you know?
I love that. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you for sharing that. It's just like it warms my heart hearing that too.
Yeah, it makes me really happy, because I think that, I mean, there is, of course, like there's a lot of violence and really tough shit that happens out here too, and music that reflects that. The reason I don't really speak on it is because like that's not my personal experience, that's not my like lived experience, but I know that happens too, and I think that's mostly what gets seen by the world. But I do feel like there's another side of the Bay, and not that either one is more important or is more like accurate, right? Like, I think they're both accurate. They're both like real depictions of what happens here, like in any scene, like any music. It's like you're just showing what your reality is. But I feel like we're getting better at showing and focusing on the things that are happening that are like positive and that are real without it being corny. You know, I think people are afraid that if you're like happy that you're being corny, right? It's just like, why do we always have to be, you know, reserved and too laid back to be like enjoying ourselves, you know?
Ain't no real thing than realization. Your pains won't go away until you face them.
We usually enter interviews for the series with the same question, which is asking artists, what's one song or artist that's resonating with you right now? Could be new or old.
I think the most accurate, like real answer is Coco Roco, the new album, Tough Times Never Last, is like my life soundtrack right now. Like, I feel like I've just been playing it like on loop pretty much, and it just feels like life, you know? It makes my life better listening to it. I really love that album. I don't know them. I don't know anything really about them. I don't even know where they're from. I feel like they're British, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'm also very inspired by a lot of the homies. Michael Sneed.
It's some angels in the mosh pit. It's some cuties in the mosh pit. If I'm lying and I'm dying, that love, Hyphy, how I feel was one-sided.
Oda Kai was my brother.
But if not, then we can run it up and never stop. I'm doing things in Tokyo, cause I got family on the block. Timu got Tasket, Kurete Kancha. Feeling like the baddest in the world, it be no Kafka.
ClayDough. Ajay Jones, Kiyomi. Yeah, so many cool homies of mine that I'm like listening to their music on the daily, you know, Hokage Simon.
Thank you so much for talking today, Seiji. This has been an awesome interview, and thanks for sharing.
For sure, man. Thank you for hitting us up. I was really excited to do this. Appreciate you, man, from the Bay to Seattle.
Feeling like Pharaoh, I'm going stupid. Falling out of love with you, so boost. I've been trying to get out of this mind. Set all my cards on the table. Say it all the time, I don't know if you hear me. I'm right here, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'll be right here. Don't need to worry, I'll be right here.
And that was a deeper listen. Whether this show gets you feeling lo-fi or hyphy, please share it with humans, and I guess you could share it with nature as well. But My point is, please share this show with your friends, send a text, but also talk to people in real life about A Deeper Listen from KEXP. Your recommendations mean a lot to us and really helps us get the word out about what we're doing here. If you want to go the extra mile, please financially support this show as well. KEXP is a nonprofit public radio station that thrives primarily on the support of our listeners. And when thousands of people come together with dependable monthly donations, it creates this dependable undergirding of support so we can keep bringing you conversations with artists and keep exploring the music scenes of Seattle, Oakland, and honestly everywhere around the world. We're really committed to just amplifying music communities and helping you discover music. And again, that's possible because of listener support. So please donate monthly if you can at kexp.org/deeper. I want to thank Dusty Henry for talking to Seiji Oda. Thanks also to Janice Headley for web design and Matt Ogaz for mastering the audio. My name's Roddy Nickpour. I want to thank you for taking a deeper listen. Take care.
Sorry if I'm giving out some ASMR right now. I'm eating a banana.
We welcome ASMR.
For sure.
Last guy I interviewed was eating an empanada, so it's in.
Oh, okay. That's a crunchier experience.